The first character is Shaletsky. He has 100 base health and a 2-star difficulty. His first ability is Slash, where he pulls out a sword and swings it, dealing 30 damage and stunning the killer for 3 seconds. After activating, Shadletsky receives Resistance 2 for 0.575 seconds, but slows him down by 75% for 1.575 seconds while in use. This ability has a cooldown of 40 seconds. Shadetsky's second ability is Fried Chicken, where he gets a piece of fried chicken and eats it. It will then be on cooldown for 70 seconds. Once used, it restores 5 HP instantly and heals an extra 35 HP over the course of 10 seconds. If he gets hit while using this ability, it cancels and can only be used twice during a round. The second character is Noob. Noob has 100 base health and a 3-star difficulty. He has 3 abilities, the first one being Bloxy Cola. Noob pulls out a Bloxy Cola and takes a sip, giving speed 1 for 10 seconds. While drinking, he loses 10% speed and the ability to sprint. This move has a cooldown of 50 seconds. His second ability is Slate Skin Potion, where he pulls out a Slate Skin Potion and takes a sip to gain Slate Skin 2 for 6 seconds. If it wears off naturally, Noob gains Speed 2 for 2 seconds. He can choose to end the Slate Skin early, but only get Speed 1 for the same amount of time. Whilst drinking, Noob loses 40% speed and the ability to sprint. This ability has a cooldown of 55 seconds. His final ability is Ghost Burger, in which he takes a bite of and gains Undetectable 1 and Invisible 4 for 10 seconds. Whilst eating, he loses 40% of his speed and the ability to sprint. The next character we'll be talking about is Elliot. He has 2 passives, the first one being when a generator is done, his healing is pushed up by 5%. His passive 2 is whenever a survivor takes damage, they get highlighted to Elliot for 12 seconds. Elliot has a base HP of 80 and a 2-star difficulty. His first ability is Pizza Throw, where he takes a pizza out and throws it in front of him, instantly healing 15 HP and progressively healing 20 more over the course of 2.5 seconds to whoever the pizza hits. After 25 seconds, it disappears. If you're within 200 studs of Elliot when he throws it, it will be highlighted until disappeared. For every Elliot in-game, the healing is decreased by 15%, capped at 80%. This has a cooldown of 45 seconds. His second ability, Rush Hour, grants him speed 3 for 3 seconds after use. Elliot needs to heal another survivor to use this again, unless it's another Elliot, in which he doesn't get a charge for this ability. He starts the round off with 1 charge already. He cannot have more than 1 charge at once. Builderman has a base HP of 90 and a difficulty of 3 stars. His first ability is Sentry Construction, where he constructs a sentry for 6 seconds in front of him. This sentry has a 45-second cooldown and 30 health, while dealing 0.7 damage and inflicting slowness 2 for 1 second per shot. Sentries have a range of 32.5 studs, but decreases by 16% for every other sentry in use. His second ability is Dispenser Construction, where he constructs a dispenser for 6 seconds with a 45-second cooldown and 15 health. This heals 1 health a second to survivors within 8 studs to it. The next character is 007. 007 has 100 base health and a difficulty rating of 4 stars. He has 1 passive ability, where he is always shown the location of the furthest survivor spawn from him. His first ability is Clone, with a cooldown of 27 seconds. When activated, 007 taps into his exploits to create a clone of himself that lives for 10 seconds before dying. Upon creating a clone, 007 is given Invisibility 4 and Undetectable 1 for 4 seconds. If 007 touches their clone after 2 seconds of it being created, the clone will immediately die and 007 will be given Weakness 2 for 4 seconds. The clone, by default, will wander aimlessly, but this can be changed through using the Inject ability. His second ability is Cool GUI with a cooldown of 50 seconds. 007 stands in place for 5.5 seconds before teleporting away to the furthest survivor's spawn location from him. Being hit during this ability cancels it. His final ability is Inject. This has a cooldown of 0 seconds. Upon activation, the clones created using 007's clone ability will have their movement type switched. The first is Aimless Wandering. The clone wanders around randomly and aimlessly. The second is Pathfinding. The clone pathfinds to the furthest survivor spawn. 3 is Cursor. The clone moves towards the player's cursor. The next character we will talk about is Two Time. Two Time has a base health of 80 and has a 4-star difficulty. He has one passive called Oblation. Two Time has a bar on the right side of the screen that when filled grants them a second life. The only way to fill this bar is by dealing damage to the killer. Landing a stab to the front will fill 37% of the bar. Landing a stab in the back will fill 56% of the bar. In their second life, they only have half as much health as they do. Upon activation, stamina is restored by 40%, all status effects are removed, Two Time is made invincible for 2 seconds, Speed 2 is applied for 6 seconds, and Weakness 5 is applied for 12 seconds. His first ability is Sacrificial Dagger. It has a cooldown of 30 seconds. Two Time instantly stabs forward and gains resistance 1 for 0.7 seconds. Landing a stab to the front will do 10 damage, heal Two Time for 10 HP, and apply Slowness 2 and Helpless 1 to the killer for 1 second. Landing a stab to the back will instead do 20 damage, stun the killer for 3.5 seconds, and heal Two Time for 20 HP. Using this ability while crouched quickly lunges you forward with a stab that has increased wind-up time and increased end lag. Landing a stab on summon does not grant oblation, progress, or healing. Two Time's second ability is Crouch. Crouch has a cooldown of 45 seconds. Two Time crouches down to silence their footsteps and become stealthier. Two Time remains crouched for at most 10 seconds, but can uncrouch whenever they need to. Crouching applies Undetectable 1 and Invisibility for 3 for at most 10 seconds. Uncrouching manually will forcibly remove these statuses and do one of the following. If Two Time is far from the killer, uncrouching manually will briefly reveal Two Time and apply Slowness 2 for up to 15 seconds, depending on how far Two Time is from the killer. If Two Time is somewhat close to the killer, uncrouching manually will have no additional effects. If Two Time is very close to the killer, uncrouching manually will instead grant Two Time Speed 2 for 1 second. Two Time's final ability is Ritual. Two Time inscribes a respawn location on the ground. Dying with a full oblation meter bar will instantly teleport Two Time to this point. This ability can only be used once per round. If Two Time becomes the last survivor alive and has not already entered their second life, Ritual will automatically trigger regardless of whether oblation was full or not. If this happens, Two Time will additionally have their maximum health increased to 110, be healed up for up to 40 HP, and will not be afflicted with Weakness 5. The first character we will talk about is Guest 1337. His health is 115 and his difficulty is 4 stars. His first ability is Block with a cooldown of 24 seconds. Guest 1337 braces for impact, applying resistance 5, aka invincibility, for 1 second, and has their movement speed reduced by 80% for 2 seconds. Upon successfully blocking an attack, Guest 1337 has their movement speed restored, their resistance status removed, and the attacking killer has their movement speed reduced by 30% for 1 second. Successful blocks restore a charge for Guest 1337's punch ability and grant speed 1 for 2 seconds. Projectiles cannot be blocked. His next ability is Charge. with a cooldown of 40 seconds. Guest 1337 dashes forwards in a shoulder bash pose for 1.5 seconds. If Guest 1337 collides with the killer during his charge, then the killer is knocked back and has their abilities locked for 1.25 seconds. Guest 1337 also becomes invincible for 1.25 seconds. Not landing a charge on an enemy inflicts Guest 1337 with slowness 2 that lasts for 3 times Guest 1337's distance from the nearest killer divided by 13. Charge ends automatically if you crash into a wall. Guest 1337 cannot gain stamina while charging. His final ability is Punch. Guest 1337 winds up his fist for 0.8 seconds and punches forwards, stunning any killer within range of his punch for 2 seconds. If this ability is used within 1 second of a successful block, then it becomes a parry. Parried punches have a wind-up time of 0.625 seconds and stun the killer for 3.5 seconds. Taff has a base health of 100 and a difficulty rating of 2 stars. His first ability is Tripwire, with a cooldown of 25 seconds. Taff places a tripwire on the ground in order to impede the killer and alert other survivors of their presence. If the killer walks over a tripwire, all survivors with 100 studs of Taff have the killer's aura revealed to them for 8 seconds, and the killer suffers slowness 2 for 4 seconds. Tripwires have a total of 10 health, and they are able to be destroyed by the killer if they hit it. Tripwires have a maximum lifetime of 150 seconds after being placed. Tripwires cannot be placed within 8 studs of each other. Taff can only have 3 tripwires placed at once. His second ability is Subspace Trip Mine, with a cooldown of 40 seconds. Taff throws a subspace trip mine in front of her that takes 3 seconds to arm. Thrown subspace trip mines reveal themselves with an audible jingle and a dim light every 16 seconds. Subspace trip mines have a maximum lifetime of 50 seconds and will detonate automatically when they expire. If the killer enters within 16 studs of the subspace trip mine, it will light up and explode after 0.4 seconds. If the killer is hit by the explosion, they will be inflicted with Subspace 3 and Helpless 1 for 5 seconds, and the cooldown of Subspace Trip Mine will be reduced by 10 seconds. If the killer hits the trip mine prior to it detonating, the trip mine instead only inflicts Subspace 1 and does not inflict Helpless. Taff is also affected by his own subspace trip mine and will always receive the full effect regardless of if the killer has hit the trip mine or not, if they are within range when it detonates. The second last survivor we'll talk about is Dusakar. He has a base health of 90 and a difficulty rating of 5 stars. He has one passive called Levitation. Dusakar levitates naturally, meaning that he doesn't make footstep sounds. His first ability is Spawn Protection with a cooldown of 30 seconds. Dusakar casts upon his magic to create a shield around a survivor of their choice for up to 3.5 seconds. Dusakar has their movement speed reduced by 25% while protecting a survivor. The ability has a range of 95 studs. The protected survivor receives resistance 4 for as long as they're protected. If there is to ever be a point where 3 Dusakars are all protecting survivors at once, then all of their shields break, and they all get inflicted with Blindness 3 and Slowness 3 for 5 seconds. Survivors who receive protection cannot be protected again until 30 seconds pass from since they were last protected. His second ability is Plasma Beam, with a cooldown of 30 seconds. Dusakar channels his powers to shoot out a beam of plasma energy at either a survivor or the killer. The ability has a range of 75 studs and can only hit one player at a time. Hitting a survivor with this ability inflicts them with Speed 1 for 4 seconds and Overhealth for 20. Every other Dusakar alive reduces the Overhealth amount by 2.5. Hitting a killer with this ability inflicts them with Slowness 2 for 3 seconds. The duration is lowered by 0.5 seconds for every other Dusakar that's alive. If the slowness duration is less than or equal to 0.5 seconds, then nothing happens. The last survivor we will talk about is Chance. Chance has a health from 60 to 120 and a difficulty of 9 sevens, never stop gambling. His passive is Unpredictable Fate. Chance's max HP stat is set to be a random value of 70 to 90. His first ability is Coin Flip, with a cooldown of 0.5 seconds. Chance flips a coin. If the coin lands on heads, gain a charge for all other abilities. If the coin lands on tails, gain weakness for 15 seconds. For every time the coin lands on tails, the level of weakness that gets inflicted on you goes up by 1. The weakness that inflicted gets has no cap. One shot. Cooldown 45 seconds. Chance pulls out an unreliable flintlock, and after a wind-up of 1 second, pulls the trigger. Upon the flintlock being triggered, all of the possible outcomes can occur. 25% chance nothing happens, 25% chance the flintlock explodes, dealing 25 damage to the user and disables the ability indefinitely. 50% chance the flintlock fires, stunning any killer that gets shot within 90 studs for 1 to 4 seconds. The shot becomes less effective depending on how far away Chance is from the killer. Shots can travel through surfaces, but hitting a killer this way will inflict slowness too instead of stunning. For every additional charge that this ability has, the chance of a successful shot will go up by 20%, while every other outcome's chance will decrease by 10%. For every additional chance that's in game, the duration of the flintlock stun is decreased by 15%. This ability starts off with 0 charges and has a cap of 3 charges. Using this ability removes all charges on every ability. His next ability is Reroll, cooldown 20 seconds. Chance rerolls the value of his max HP stat. Upon activation, a random number between 60 to 120 is chosen. For every charge that this ability has, that number will be intensified by 3%, and then it will become Chance's max HP. This ability starts off with 0 charges and has a cap of 3 charges. Using this ability removes all charges on every ability. His final ability is Hat Fix, with a cooldown of 60 seconds. Upon activating this ability, all weakness stacks that were inflicted onto you through using Coin Flip are removed. This ability can be used after reaching 3 charges for all other abilities. Using this ability removes all charges on every ability and re-enabled the one-shot ability if it's disabled.